I want to thank you for your apology. I want to thank you both for its content and, frankly, its tenor. It is one that is not typically seen in politics, and there's a level of honesty and frankness and, frankly, self-criticism that I'm appreciative to hear. I'm one of those people who was disappointed to see the statement, and frankly, I'm glad to see that you've owned up to it. I can't say that that's where it stops for me, and in a sense, I look at this as a thing that has dirtied everyone that it's touched. I look at a print media that's taken this to borderline sensationalistic standards and repetition, levels of repetition. I've seen a political party make a fundraiser out of this. I wonder how much, if they'll disclose how much they profited from running a campaign on this. I've been disappointed in some of my fellow board members. People who would talk to the media before even offering you courtesy or reply to your call to them for an apology, because this isn't your first apology, as everyone on this board knows, because everyone on this board received a phone call from Mrs. Terhar, and most people chose to either answer or reply to them. She apologized for this from the beginning, and I think that's appropriate, and I'm glad that you did it. But I'm also glad that you've apologized publicly in this manner, because at some point this is going to end, and in my view, it's going to end today. Now, that may lead some of my fellow board members to disagree. It wouldn't be the first time that my colleagues have disagreed with me on this board, and I suspect it won't be the last. And I understand that some may actually be interested in calling for your resignation as president, or voting you out as president, which procedurally could conceivably be done. That's certainly their right, and I don't think any less of them for exercising that right, but I want to encourage them to consider two things. First, I want them to honestly reflect on their own private communications, because I can think of leading officials in this state who've said things to me that would make my Army cousin blush. I can think of things said to me across this table when the mics are off by individuals sitting here today that, if we put them in the public domain, would rise to a lot bigger banner headlines about the nature of inappropriate statements. Those are private statements. I would never dream of repeating them, because that's not how private statements are. We're dealing with one of the issues as to what is the line between public and private, Facebook and on the record and off the record. But I'm encouraging my colleagues to reflect seriously on things that they've said in private and ask themselves whether they would like to see that put in a broader public domain. And the second thing is to consider her statement, because what I heard today and what I heard several weeks ago was an honest apology from someone who was sorry not just to move this along and out of the public domain, but somebody who's sorry and regretful that they had said what they said. And if that's not enough for her, for you, that she has said that, and I say this to my colleagues, and I say this to members of the public, if that's not enough for you, what is the standard we're going to use for somebody who makes a few-second error in judgment in an online private comment that it merits the end of a political status? I assure you it's something that no one will meet as a political standard. Not her, not me, and importantly as well, not any of you. And we're not going to demean public service by having that kind of departure from Mrs. Terhar. She apologized. It's over. Let's move on.